Hello, pilots. Wanted to show you the other P-40 today, which has long been one of my favorite planes in the game. The P-40 M105, the Soviet multi-role version of the P-40. And arguably, since the release of the Chinese P-40, which I think is probably considered the best in the game at this point, you're giving up very little and getting back bombs in return. This one's probably the third best P-40 in the game, but nonetheless, it is still quite fun to fly, and since the 50 caliber buff still has pretty incredible guns on it. So I'm going to show you this match, which ended up pretty good for us, and why I still think this one's pretty viable, even if you have the other P-40s, or if you don't, why you should be flying this one. So right, head on with that BF-109 right away. I know I've got the better guns. I know I've got full health, and as a multi-role, I have more health than he does. So that's one thing that this does have going for us, even though it doesn't have the altitude performance of the Chinese or American versions of this plane. And also, the P-40 is really fast, right? It's a good energy fighter. And so I'm just going to buzz through this zone. I've gotten a kill, flipped some stuff around. I've hammered that 109 pretty good, and we've captured the zone. And I'm just going to keep pushing on. Not going to get into a dogfight with a 109. Not going to get a dogfight with a 0. Neither one of those things is happening, right? And I'm just kind of checking my 6 to make sure, yeah, they're still fighting over the zone. I'm going to have to come back there and help defend it, or maybe go take the airfield. But for now, I'm going to push on and just grab another zone real quick with the speed that I have. This one's almost capped, so I'm going to try and reverse the cap, and I immediately, oh look, there's a P-40 down there. And I wanted to show you guys something because you may not have realized this. So let me back up the video just a smidge, because you might have a question mark. In fact, you should have a question mark. But at this point, you don't have a question mark because I haven't showed you yet. But you may have noticed immediately from flying this map that I am running the No Clouds mod. Now, I did that on purpose on this match to show you what's going on here, and why I have said a couple of times that the Clouds mod doesn't really have the impact that you think it does, because all the calculations are done server side. So what do I mean by that? Well, you can look at this and you can tell, right? The zone is 2,000 meters away. I should have visibility at this point. You can see this plane just popped in at 1,000 meters. So I couldn't see it up until this point. And then you might notice that there's an enemy plane down here that's going to pop in. Right, and he pops in at 1,400. He's actually outside the cloud bank that this thing has, so I've got a little more visibility on him. So the clouds are still here in the game client. I can't see him until the game client is ready to show him to me. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. And then you're going to see again, look, there, right there, just at 1,000 meters, you see the enemy aircraft. So even though there are no clouds on my monitor, because I'm running the quote-unquote no cloud mod, the clouds are still in the game. They still exist within the dynamics of the game and in the game mechanics. And so they are still doing what they are intended to do. And this is why Wargaming has never banned the No Clouds mod, why it's never been an issue. Because it doesn't mess with their mechanics on the server side. All it does is wipe out a graphics thing on client side. Now, that does provide a little bit of an advantage. I can't crash into the ground quite as easily as you can imagine, right? Because I can see the ground more clearly. But as I said before, mods always provide an advantage. That's why they exist. So the question is the advantage game breaking? And in this case, the advantage of not being able to run it, or not running into the ground, being able to see the ground a little more clearly, is not one that Wargaming is concerned about, because the clouds act as a camouflage modifier. That's why they were put in to begin with. And you can see even over here to the right of the enemy plane that's just popped on the screen, I can't even see the last of the buildings in this area. Now, the buildings themselves are on my screen, but I can't tell what their HP is. I don't know what their status is. Until I get closer, the server is not going to reveal that information to my client. So that's why I couldn't see, and that's why it popped in. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, if you were on your toes, but there it is. So that's when I noticed, okay, this guy's right there. I'm going to go for him. He doesn't see me because the clouds work both ways, and I don't think people understand that either. So he did not know I was incoming on him, just as I did not know that he was down below the cloud bank over there. But it provides a very awesome opportunity for me to swing this zone pretty darn quickly, and this is what I remember. Oh yeah, I've got rockets. So the Russian version does have rockets. It has 4 of the small rockets, which honestly, as you can see, are not very good. If it hadn't been for my bombers above, that one rocket strike would not have been enough to finish off a wounded building. So, there's some question about whether or not it's even worth it to carry rockets on this. However, as you probably saw at the beginning, mine is specialized, so I don't have a choice. So I decide, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this guy off. They've just captured the command center, so it's going to be 30 seconds before I can flip it anyway, and I need my rockets back, so I'm going to go ahead and clear out the one GA since there's nobody here to defend other than the ADAs once they respawn. Just going to get some altitude and see what I can do to retake the command center. And then I see on my left there, you'll notice the BF-109 is incoming. He's very low on health. I've got altitude. All right, it's worth it. Let's do it. Let's roll over and let's one pass it, right? Let's see if we can get him out. And unfortunately, I make a mistake in this. I start firing too early. My guns are not ranged in right. I hit a little bit too much of a kick there, and I completely whiff it. And now I'm dead. There's just no way, right? The 109 is specialized as well. He's going to turn better than me. And he's also got, you know, at least the same energy performance, if not better. And he's probably just kicked his pneumatic assist there as well. So even though I've left him with just a handful of hit points, we all know how this is going to turn out. And that's exactly what happens. He managed to get behind me. I'm going to try and drag him through the trees, kind of force him to lose his last couple of hit points, but it didn't work. I probably should have been a little more aggressive with that, actually going through the trees. I had a little bit of hit points to spare at that point. That might have been something I could have done, but I didn't, and down I go. It's just as well. We can reset from our starting area, and we can then pull out, you know, a capture of the command center, or maybe the airfield, because I'm looking at this now, and you probably are as well, and noticing that the command center is already half capped, actually 2/3 capped, and we've got 5-6 planes over it. So as soon as I see that waiting for the spawn in, I decide, you know what? Let's head to the airfield instead, because it's going to be really easy for them to retake it if they're coming at us from 2 angles. And so even though, again, there's a very important zone on the map, the reality is, you know, sometimes those secondary zones are just as important as the primary zones are. And I'm going to be checking out this zone over here. And you can see, interestingly, there is an enemy plane and another plane. Now, I don't know how big your monitors are, folks, but this is 0.2 with the no clouds mod. If you zoom in really far, at least as far as I could zoom in when I was looking at this video outside of recording it, you'll notice I can see the 2 icons there. I can see them there because my ground attack aircraft is reporting the presence of the enemy plane. There's a relay system, just like there is in World of Tanks, right? So even though I normally couldn't see the enemy plane because I have a friendly plane nearby, I can see him. But if you look really closely, if you blow it up on an image in your screen, you'll notice neither of the planes are rendered, and that's because of the clouds. Again, the server doesn't want me to see those planes, and so it's not rendering them. When we get a little closer, they will render if the game decides we're close enough to be able to do that. So from there, I couldn't even see the models of the aircraft. Again, even though I've got a no clouds mod, it's not going to let me see anything I'm not supposed to see, right? So the P-40 is again unaware of my presence. He's locked into a dogfight, and I get the first pass on him. And one thing that, another mod you may want to consider, by the way, is the bots mod that I have. You know, the reality is when he saw the bot, he was dogfighting, and then saw me, I should have been the most important target. I should have been what he was afraid of. And once again, I'm not going to get into a turn fight. I'm just going to brush on by, keep my speed up. At tier 5, 440 kph is not bad at all. It's actually a pretty decent speed, and so I'm on the other side of the zone now. I've got some friendlies, and we just need to get 2 of these ADAs out, and this will be flipped. Can't quite get him. That's okay. We're just going to spin it around. Heavy's up a little higher than me, I think, at this point, but I'm happy to have his presence there to divide the attention of the bots, right? And that'll be that. So we've got the zone now. We just got to get into the middle and cap that. And you can see, we're up by 60 or so points on the counter. Not bad at all. Very easy. We can kind of get that, and we've got people working on it. So, it's looking rough with the one ground attack aircraft there, but we do have some multi-rolls coming in. And you can see someone pinging the map going, hey, let's get over there and get it. And I completely agree. The Buffalo has come in to challenge our Focke-Wulf, but not quickly enough. And I know the Buffalo is a sneaky good aircraft. Even though it's a tier 4, a tier below me, it has 20mm cannons, and those are pretty powerful. And so I want to get him out on this pass if I can. And again, he couldn't see me diving on him, so that is pretty awesome. I get a strafing pass with no problem. I'm going to keep going. Again, my speed is high. There's no reason to turn, especially with a 0 and a Buffalo in the zone. clear the 0. That's awesome. That's one pesky thing that would challenge me a good bit that I can deal with now. And I see the Buffalo is not followed. Maybe he can't see me because of the cloud layer, or maybe he's just not concerned about it. Or maybe he's trying to desperately get out of the way to regen some hit points, but I managed to get enough of him off and start a fire and clear him out. And then a P40 above me, same thing, just going to clear him out. We're just trying to make the zone as, helpfully held as possible. I've got the 109 coming in again. We're just going to do it again. We're just going to go head-to-head again. And that time we crash. He knocks my engine out, and that makes it easy for me to get around on him because I lose that initial velocity. And again, I've got more hit points. So if he wants to ram, if a light fighter wants to ram a multi-roll, go for it. You don't have the hit points to do that, generally speaking, right? So I'm certainly down a little bit. There's other aircraft in the zone, but I didn't feel too bad about taking the ram, given what's around me in terms of friends and given the fact that we really need to hold on to this zone for the end of the game. We've increased our lead to 150 capture points, and so that is good. I guess not capture points. What are they called, really? If you know, tell me what the, I guess just game points, whatever. Capture points is what you have, right, for capturing a zone. But I'm not sure what it's called when they're up top. Maybe I do remember and I've just blanked on it. I'm going to try and save our Blenheim, but I'm too little too late, unfortunately. The P-38 is very strong at this tier, even with a bot, and I'm not going to chase up after him because my P-40, unlike other P-40s, does not have a 1,600 meter optimal altitude. I wish that it did, but it does not. So, unfortunately, we got to keep going there. Okay, so then we're going to come down here, and we're going to clear out the rest of this match. All right, sorry about that. Had to deal with some real-life stuff, but I'm unpausing now. I think the video may not be entirely synced. I apologize for that. But this is as good a place as any to pick back up. And that is because it's about to be the end of the match, honestly, because I'm low on hit points. There's 4 enemy planes in the zone, and I've got a BF-109 gunning for me. So he's coming in again, and this is going to be another head-on pass, and I'm going to have to deal with that. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of options in dealing with it just because, at this point, I'm out of boost unless I hit my cooler, and he is gunning for me. It's at 600 meters. I can't outmaneuver him. I've already learned that the hard way. One option I did have in retrospect was I should have been firing off my rockets. There's such an afterthought on this plane, even as it is. That I sometimes don't remember that I have them, and that probably would have been good. Although I think at 600 meters, he's probably already inside the detonation range of these rockets, so it may not have done me any good. But anyway, you're going to see firsthand, this is the case where he's at full health, I'm at 85 health, and it's just nothing for it, right? I'm not going to be able to burn him down fast enough, even with the air defense aircraft doing it with me. And so that's that. But as you can also see, one of the reasons I wasn't too worried about it is, we are 42 points from the end of the game. We're doing 6 points every 5 seconds. So I need 7 rounds. So that is 35 seconds before the end of the game. And I don't, they're not going to catch up at this point anyway. So unfortunately, although I died again, it does, ends with him flipping the zone. It's still 2-2. We still have a tremendous lead. And again, we're very, very close to the end. So, like I said, I just think this plane is good, solid still. Really the only place where it suffers a little bit. It's slower than the other two P-40s, but still plenty fast enough, especially on tier. The real place where it suffers is that altitude performance. Getting the debuff to flight characteristics when you're in the yellow really hurts it a little bit. But it still does a lot of good things and can give you, a pretty good punch and boost at flipping sectors, especially if you fly it as a multi-roll. As long as you don't try and mix it up with people against other light fighters, right? Going against the 109 one-on-one, probably not the smartest of ideas, right? I just thought I could one-pass him, and I could not. But other than that, it's a solid plane all around. So 16 drops, got beat twice. Working on dailies and some of this stuff as well. You can see I maxed out the capture points. Did pretty good on job defending and capped 3 sectors. So not a bad match, and certainly had, some stuff going on with teammates. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot that was contributed in the match on my end. I'm not sure if it was newer players or what. I didn't check afterwards to see, but the reality is they had a couple of pilots who put up some pretty respectable numbers, right, in terms of the battle that's going on, but it just wasn't the right place at the right time. And I've mentioned this on Discord to other people before, but essentially, if you look at personal points, you go, "Oh, the other team should have won." Yeah, that's because personal points have no reflection of their impact on the battle, right? Really, what you want to do, honestly, if you wanted to, if you wanted to guess who won a game based on the after report, look at the number of sectors captured by human pilots. That'll tell you more than anything, kind of what's going on with it. But this is a great plane still. If you don't have the other P40s, rock it. It has a pretty good flight characteristics anyway. I got the uprated engine on it, and for better thrust, I've got the wings frame to give me a little bit more maneuverability, and then I've got the aerodynamic pylons to keep it from getting hit too much on the speed. And you can see I'm at 416 for cruise, 546 for boost, and then 10.2 for turn rate with the pilot. I'm also running Marksman 2. I'm running my SU-9 pilot in here. And I don't know, you probably could get away with running, a different pilot or not having Marksman 2 with the machine guns. You already got a pretty solid auto aim bonus on them. But so maybe that extra speed would be helpful and allow you to kind of bridge the gap with some other fighters. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which one you would prefer to have, the double engine or double guns, or just back and forth. So and then you can see there I don't have the climb rate or the maximum altitude, but I do have pretty good hit points, right, and pretty good damage resistance on this, and so that's certainly helpful. And you can see now that Specialized, and I've opened up the other air plant engine slot, I've put in the engine mixture to give me extra thrust and cruise speed. So solid plane. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed this one from the first time I got it in 1.x, and this is my favorite paint scheme for it, the winter one. Back in the day when you could run any paint scheme on any map and get the bonus, I ran this on all the maps. It's just my favorite. I think it looks really cool. I love the white and the green mixed with a little bit of red on it. So it's a fun plane. You can run this on it if you want, the kind of chrome paint, which gives you extra 3% cruise speed. And you can see that would put me at 429. I've thought about that before, but because I'm primarily using it as an offensive multi-role, having the camouflage with the extra bonuses to resist AA actually feels like the right choice to me. But if you don't have it specialized and you want to take the rockets off and run it more as a true fighter, then that's probably your best bet, and give you that little bit of extra speed. And if you're going to do that, I also, by the way, would probably switch over, and I would also do sorry, back and forth on these. If you're going to do that, if you're going to try and run it as a pure fighter, I would run your equipment slots as all speed, and just let the chips fall where they may on that. But again, it's up to you if you want to do that. I love the marine paint on this one too. There's not so many blue planes in the game, especially for Russia, but it's that marine blue that they run for their naval forces. The newer Yaks have it on it, I think. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, this plane just has a spot in my heart. I enjoy it a lot. And I thought I would show it off today, and what I think was a pretty good match. So, and apologies, my keyboard kind of got slipped halfway off of my screen, so you got a little bit of a white bar there because it got shifted before I started recording the match. I fixed that in subsequent recordings, so it'll be back to normal for you. But if you have any questions about the P40 or have any comments on my flying, you're welcome to put those below, and tell me what you think. I do not have the P40 in, so if you've had a chance to fly it and think it's pretty good, throw a comment down on that as well. And I've got a group flight up session for tomorrow for this weekend, so I'll be able to get that video out to you guys as well. So if you've enjoyed the team ups I've done with Corvus and with Rapthor, I've got another one coming up this weekend to put into a video next week. So have a great weekend, enjoy yourself, good luck on the mastery ladder, and I will see you in the skies.